Okay, and
Yes.
take and now thank you everyone for joining us for our YFM gathering and our micro training. And our micro training this evening is with Miss Akosawa Washington Woods of Unity of Gaithersburg. Thank you so much, Miss Akosawa, for sharing about finding ourselves in transition. Take it away, Miss Akosawa.
Thanks. Just like everyone else, I'm also having a bit of a challenge in terms of census, because I didn't do a check-in yet. And yeah, but we do have one YOUer who's going to rally next week. And you know, luckily enough, I've been able to hook up with some another YOUer from Bowie, and they're going to take him down and bring him back. One of my BFFs, her son unexpectedly transitioned, and his services are on Saturday, so I can't, and I'm part of the service, so can't be there. So yeah, but the YOUers, the Uniteens, that kind of thing, it is difficult or a challenge having them come. And just like the rest of y'all, when young people are there, whether it's the really littles or the olders, they got to depend upon their parents to get them there. And my take on a lot of that is that the parents are the ones who are enjoying being in their pajamas and having coffee. And if the kids could drive, the children would be there, the young people would be there. So I've been doing a lot of thought about that. And before we go any further and I go into the talk, I just want to let you know, and I'll let you know as this develops, but we are going to do a peace camp for a week at the end of August. And those who are close enough, which may not or may not work out, are certainly welcome, but details to follow on Peace Camp. So I'm looking forward to that. As she said, I am with Unity of Gaithersburg. I've been there less than a year. We transitioned from all the way across the other side of the world to come back to the East Coast. So I've been there less than a year, and I'm the YFM director. And with that, I'm in the classroom every Sunday teaching and creating curriculum. So I guess that's enough about me, except that I will say that we had an intergenerational Easter egg hunt for Easter after service. And I think what enticed people to get there is we had a golden egg. And so we talked about how there was some big surprise in the golden egg. So we had eggs everywhere, all over the campus, and the littles and some of the older folks. A lot of adults stayed and just kind of milled around talking with each other because it was a lovely day and laughing at, the scampering and everything. The golden egg, which I did not hide, was hidden so well that finally the person who hid it had to go and say to people, "You're getting cold, you're closer. No, you're hot, 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 cold, 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 cold," before the golden egg was found. So, and in there was 2 $5 bills and 10 $1 bills, and a couple of little trinkets, and we did have candy because that's what fit in the eggs. But some people put pennies and nickels and dimes, and some people, because I asked the church for assistance with that. And so people took a bunch of eggs that I gave them and filled them. Some people filled them with, like one family filled all the eggs that they filled with 3 $1 bills. So there's really ways to do some of that. I did buy toys to go in them and then realized I didn't take the eggs with me, and the toys were too big to fit inside the eggs. So they got them in. I gave everybody Easter baskets, really colorful paper bags with stuff in it. And all those who came for YFM. And we had a good time. So I would recommend an intergenerational Easter egg hunt. It's not just for the young people. So that's what I got to say about that. Finding yourself in transition. Hold on just a second. Okay, let me find you all. I always struggle with this one to, whoops. Let me find you all because I want to see you. Show video pin. There we go. So luckily enough, I had taught this for my LUT training a year or so ago, year and a half ago. So I went in and pulled various slides from that. So this was not something that I came up with yesterday. But you know, I pulled pieces from having taught finding yourself in transition. So with that being said, here we go. Stages of transition, and I'm going to have y'all reading too, so don't think that I'm gonna just talk at you because that's not who I am. I'll start. Stages of transition, there are three. Endings, which is transition begins with an ending. Change means letting go of the old before we are able to embrace the new. Then a void, characterized by a feeling of emptiness and a sense of wandering and loss. Then turn that all the way around and we have new beginnings. When you get here, you may find the answer or just a new journey on the path. Take the risk. Jay, go ahead. Oh, you know, I should probably read this page, please.
Me, right?
Yes, Jay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Crisis precedes transformation in the life of the individual. After the transformation, these problems are seen to be evolutionary drivers. The crucial factor lies in the way we handle our crisis, our attitude toward it. Not all crisis leads to transformation. To understand the magnificent processes that created us and purposefully cooperate with them is planning and designing our own future. We are partners in the cosmic dance.
So think about that. We, all of us collectively, are partners in this cosmic dance. So who's next up? Marical, you're next up. You're the
Okay.
next one in my, that I see.
Okay. Rather than experiencing and transforming pain, conflict, and fear, we often divert or dampen them with conflict, pain, tension, fear, paradox. Once we confront them, the transformative process begins. Sometimes our decisions are made automatically and unconsciously, the result of old programs operating in our subconscious mind. Acting unconsciously, we are not responding to the circumstances of the present moment. Each crisis can be a turning point that leads to the death of an old way of being and to the birth of new life.
So what I pulled out of this one here is each crisis can be a turning point that leads to the death of an old way of being and to the birth of new life. That's been poignant for me, and we can share some of that towards the end. Thank you. Tammy. Oh, you're muted,
Yes.
Tammy. There you go.
Wisdom and allow us to see beyond the appearance of tragedy to the new life beyond. I begin to see, oh no, I'm sorry, we begin to see each ending, each death, not as a tragedy, but as to prelude to a transformation. Some believe that humankind is now confronted with the need to draw upon faith and wisdom in order to transcend our own humanness. We are being called to go beyond ourselves as we now exist. Individually and collectively, we are being pushed to the limits of our humanness. Each step is guided guided by the God within each of us. The divine plan is unfolding within and through each of us.
So, individually and collectively, we are being pushed to the limits of our humanness. Don't you wonder that sometimes when you turn on the news? Each step, though, is being guided by the God within each and every one of us. Isn't that what we tell the young people? on Sunday and in between. Janelle. You're muted, Janelle.
Got it. The answer can be found by looking at what is in front of us. Step by step, day by day, the plan unfolds before our very eyes. The path we must take is the path we are on. We arrive at each destination by whatever it takes to get there. We are active participants in all life events. We have within our soul the divine plan seeking fulfillment. We are evolution becoming conscious of itself. An ending is a beginning.
An ending is a beginning. Imagine. Thank you. All right, who's up next? Gwen, are you able to see? Because I see you've got your camera off. Okay. Patty, you want to go ahead? You're muted, Patty.
To
Oh,
find
Gwen's here.
ourselves- Well, I was muted. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
To find ourselves, we must love ourselves. We must fully surrender to the natural flow of life. Surrender could be non-resistant, acceptance, non-attachment, or
Equanimity.
oh,
Equanimity.
okay. I can't see it. I'm trying to make it bigger, but I couldn't. To surrender, you must be totally yourself. Live fully in each moment. Letting go of our attachment of who we think we should be, and to unconditionally accept how we are right now. Look at each part of ourselves as it arises moment by moment, denying nothing, condemning nothing. Allow each eternal experience to occur without interference. Simply observe each thought, feeling, desire, memory, and physical sensation, and then letting go. We will naturally begin to behave in ways that are beneficial to ourselves and others. Be willing to experience all aspects of self. We are gaining more consciousness in all areas of our life.
Thank you, Gwen. Yeah, so this ain't easy, is it? Especially the letting go of all of those things, because that's part of our story. And sometimes we get really wound up in our story and aren't willing to let go, but we can do that. As it says, be willing to experience all aspects of self. We are gaining more consciousness in all areas of our life. Thank you. Patty.
We ask for what we want. We voice our opinion when appropriate. And we act when we need to act, but not be attached to the results. Become less concerned with the external content of our life. Lost concerned with the past and the future, and more concerned with how we are living our life each moment. It is not giving up or quitting. It's not resignation or despair. Surrender is a conscious giving over of oneself to something greater. It is not abdicating responsibility for the way we live our life. It is living responsibly and skillfully by allowing a greater reality to direct the course of our life.
Great, huh? Not resignation or despair, but allowing. It's, what is it they say? This or something better. Anna.
Be mindful of each moment by moment experience. Practice of mindful awareness, along with an attitude of non-judgmental acceptance, will eventually dissolve all resistance in consciousness. Consciously observe our thoughts, feelings, words, and behaviors. We begin to see the deeper places within ourselves where we are holding, refusing to let go, refusing to surrender. Resistance to any painful experience will ultimately cause more suffering than the original pain itself.
Yeah. What do you think? We're going to get an opportunity to talk about this in a minute because I'm about done with the slides. Okay. We can go back around again. Who do I see? I see Marakel.
Yes. Acceptance is magic. We experience the dance of life unfolding with less grasping and attachment and less suffering. When you let go of control of the universe, when you let go of everything, only the truth remains. Truth itself is a very real and powerful force when one holds to it without compromise. Self-will blocks the release of soul free. Removing self-will frees it. One must surrender to the power of truth.
Thank you. I really like the release of soul free. You know, kind of that gut, that intuition, that whole piece that knows when we go into that soul space, that still small space, the answer's there, even if it's one we didn't particularly think we wanted to see, hear, know, and feel.
You must have read my mind, because that was what was on my mind, is like the truth is not always what you want. So thank you for that.
Well, go ahead, Janelle, and do the next one.
Acceptance is magic. Oh wait, that's what Micah said. Okay. All right. Well, then to do this requires you to have radical trust, and I'm going to add faith in God at work in your life. As we embrace this trust, we find that the very force that shook our world and caused it to collapse around us is the same force that we at first resisted, then gradually accept and now align with. It was the very force that brought us home to our true self. The dance of life, evolving, unfolding, expressing itself through us and around us and through us. The God of creation and destruction, who sustains through, for some reason I want to add cosmic dance. It's cosmic dance, the endless rhythm of the universe.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Did
Cosmic
I miss?
Dance of the divine.
Yes, absolutely. Did I miss this slide? No, because that was a soul free one. Yes. All righty, who's up next? There you go, Jay.
We're both dancer and the dance, the seeker and the sought, the knower and the known. What we have been looking for is that for which we are looking. We have come home to ourselves. This is not the end. It is only the beginning, for the dance goes on.
This is not the end. It is only the beginning, and the dance does go on. So we are who we've been looking for, you know. So now, kind of in the ending, I've got some questions for you. Who am I? What is real? What is life about? What is my place in the world? What can I do to make a change in myself and the world? What is mine to do? What have I learned about myself? And where do I go from here? So before we close completely, I'd like to ask you, somebody just put your hand up or jump in or however. So I'm going to leave the questions up a little bit because I don't know how to get everybody on the screen and have that still up too, because I see you in little small boxes. But yeah, what do you think? Who are you? What's life all about? What's your place? Somebody want to take a stab at some of this? There you go, Janelle. You're on mute.
Hi again. All right. So my guru has a quote that says that allowance is the gateway to Toria, which is, peace and just non-resistance, just life as it is. And so, and when I look at these questions, and this is actually just part of my struggle or my transition that I might be going through. It's like sometimes I don't even want to answer the question. Like, because answering the question invokes the idea of I'm not where I'm supposed to be, and I'm not accepting where I am. So there's this whole struggle of I've got to do this or I've got to do this, but in reality, I don't have to do any of that. And then, in the transitions of everything, if I'm right where I'm at, then the right answer is right there. And so for me, I've kind of stopped asking these questions because it just messes everything
Wait.
up.
Oh, and it's like the song, I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. So
yes. Yeah.
Mary
So
Kelly,
it's an interesting paradox. It's a very interesting paradox to ask these questions, but which takes me out of where I'm at.
Thank you.
That's where I'm at.
Raquel, and then Jay.
Thank you. Oh, I love answering questions like this. So I'm on the other side of Janelle. I'm opposite of Janelle. I love these questions, and even though sometimes I get stuck in the ego and the mind about it, just thank you for these questions, because I was going to answer it as if I was where I want to be or where I will be, and then I went and I had to kind of come back in and be like, no, this is who I really am. So I'm going to go down the list.
Awesome.
So who am I? I am light. What is real? Spirit, divine order, and prosperous abundance. What is my life about? Magnetic, fun, playful, and service. What is my place in the world is to create beauty and inspiration. What can I do to make a change in myself and the world? Stop getting in my own way. What is mine to do? Service and contribution. And what have I learned about myself? Oh, that's a big one. I'm unlimited. Like I have to say it because I haven't acknowledged this in a long time, and I know that I'm a pretty big manifester and I don't acknowledge that enough. And where do I go from here? Up and away. And so it is.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you've obviously spent some time with some of these. Yeah. Thank you. Jay.
No. I was just gonna ask Janelle a question when she said she didn't like the questions. I wanted to know if it was all the questions or specifically just the where do I go from here, or was it a specific question?
It's not that I don't like the questions. And I think to put it more in context, it's because I've spent a great deal of time answering these questions. In my, just like there was a time that it's like every day it's like, who am I? Who am I? And what is real? I don't know what's real. What, I don't know what's unreal. So I just, for me, it's like I'm living in a neutral space, not in the past, not in the future, because I've found that when I do, that's when everything gets, I don't really want to, everything hits the fan. Let's just put it that way. So it's not that I don't like the questions. They're very profound and deep questions, but I've asked them so many times for myself that I just want to live. I want to live in each moment that I have. instead of asking myself questions over and over.
Mhm.
And
it's-
more so even is to, if I ask a question, just to allow it to rise up,
Mhm.
come from where it needs to be.
Mhm.
Cool.
Thank you. Jay, did you have anything you want to contribute to the questions?
Hmm. I guess, I mean, the one I can answer simply, what is my life about? For me, I've come to the realization that my life is being an emissary of God, being the love and light
Mhm.
that I am, living in
Mhm.
that. That is what my life is about, and how it shows up is going to be uniquely as me, as I express it, but it's to be love in form and in action. That is what my
Mhm.
life is about.
Mhm. Thank you.
Mhm.
Patty, do you want to? I think I did say y'all could volunteer to say this, but I'm gonna throw your name out there and your name's out there anyhow.
This is it's interesting for me. I've worked for Unity Center of Light for over 30 years.
Mhm.
And so I would say my life is about service and about helping others understand that God is everywhere present.
Thank you. Thank you. Anna?
I keep looking at the questions
Uh-oh.
and yeah, you moved them. There we go. Thank you. And the one that I'm not sure, it's a combination of things. I've been going through so much lately that I'm just kind of like tired, emotionally tired. And I just know that for right now, I need to rest, emotionally rest, and just let go. So I think that's where I'm going right now.
Mhm.
It's just taking a break. I mean, I will continue going to church and all of that, but I just need to slow down. I've been doing so much and taking several classes at the same time, and it's just I'm just tired. And I'm realizing I'm sitting here and going like, yeah, that's what's going on with me right now. So there it is.
And there are all those passages out there that talk about rest when one needs to do so.
Yeah.
So good for you for knowing that and taking the time and the opportunity.
Thank you.
Yes,
Mhm.
agreed.
Gwen. You're still on mute, Gwen.
Again, I apologize. So many of these intertwine for me. They're questions that continually are thrown my way, but um, the biggie is what have I learned about myself? I've learned about myself that I'm so busy serving others that I haven't taken time for myself. That I have not. Well, I'm just beginning. I just did one thing that I said no to. That I don't know how to say no. Whatever needs to be done, whoever needs to be done, whatever needs to be served. Uh, Gwen is there. Gwen will do it. Um, but now it has just overwhelmed me and my life, and I haven't had time to just love myself.
Mm.
And that's what I need to do. And I need to learn how to say no. And if something is not serving me, I just need to do an inventory a little bit more because I'm not getting any younger. And it's just, it has taken its toll on me. That's all. And I just have to look at it and learn how to say no, learn how not to just be involved in everything and doing everything. That's all.
Thank you, Gwen. Thank you.
Gwen, I feel like you were preaching to me.
Uh-huh. Several of us.
Girl,
Well,
seriously. I'm like, oh God. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
my
Amen.
Lord, it's just very, 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 very hard. And it has been who I am all my life. It's been about serving and serving others. And like I said,
No.
it's just time that I can't feel any guilt or anything about saying no, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yep. In a program, another program that I'm in, the very
Huh?
first meeting that I went to with that, a person in the room said that no is a complete sentence. And that had never occurred to me, ever. And so knowing the ability to say no is service to both yourself and those around you. Because
Well,
if you so, and you know, we're taught to feel guilty about saying no. And so part of taking our power back and part of claiming our truth is that no is a complete sentence. And I don't always manage it, but I have learned, yep, this opportunity to say no and say it cheerfully. Don't even say it. Put your head up, be proud, put your chest out if you need to, and just say no.
And
No.
don't apologize for it either.
Yep.
Don't apologize. Unapologetically say no.
Mhm.
well, I must say that in all of my 78 years, this is the second time that I have heard no is a complete sentence. It was about a couple of weeks ago, and my chairman of our chaplaincy, uh, she said to me, Miss Gwen, you know, no is a complete sentence. And now I hear you say it again. It's like, and it's okay.
Yes.
Oh my
That's the
goodness. My
universe
goodness.
way of affirming to you that no, it's okay for you to hear it that close, that same phraseology, in such a short span. That's the universe reaffirming for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Mhm.
God knows I need it.
Thank you, Gwen. Tammy,
Yes.
I think you're the last one up. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I am from Vietnam, right? So I grew up in a developing country. So we never really asked who am I? We're too busy, making a living, and we came here. So it is very interesting, when I came here, we say, who am I? But I'm accustomed to this question, who am I? What is real? So what is real? I think I loved one or two of slides you had here, like a surrender, acceptance. What is real is a present moment. Your breath, your whatever it's at the moment here is real. Not concerned about what in the past, not what in the future, but here and now, right? So what is my to do? For me, I pray. We have to pray. I pray to the divine, pray to God that I can have wisdom I have the wisdom to see what is mine to do, what I need to do to change in myself and the world. So that basically is like a seed, pray for the wisdom to see my mission, to see what I need to do to help others and help myself. So where do I go from now? Living at the present time. And enjoy and not attached, and do the best you can, not attached to the result, whatever it come out. So that's my input. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mm.
Tammy. Thank
Yeah.
you all, because you know, it is what is real, like sort of what Janelle said. What is real? So what might be real this moment may no longer be real 10 minutes from now. And you know, what is you know, place in the world, and what can I do to make change? You know, for me, I struggle with that because I see the big things that are happening out there. And so I often say to myself, what is mine to do? Well, some of the time mine is just hold space and bear witness. And so, you know, and then I look at what have I learned about myself. Well, before COVID, I would tell you that I was a extrovert extraordinaire. I talked to every grass, every dog, cat, every moose, you know, duck, whatever. Always in the conversation, always around, always this. But you know, then we had we had lockdown. And what I have come to discover about myself is that even though I thought that I loved every person in the world, and I still do, it's that I don't want them in my space. And so, yeah, so it really has made me have to take a look at myself and see, what did I learn? And that was one of the things that I learned. So I think I'm what you call a extroverted introvert. Yeah. So, and where do I go from here? Just keep plugging away at it, you know, that cosmic dance. Now, ordinarily, I would have stopped every slide and given us the opportunity to talk about that a little more, but I only had 20 minutes that I'm sure I've gone over. So, with that.
It's well worth it. It's well worth it.
Thank you. So most of these slides, or a lot of the thoughts, I tweaked them somewhat, came from Robert Brummett's book, Finding Yourself in Transition. But, you know, some of it is still pertinent in this moment, in the present. So with that, I will leave you with this. What you choose to focus on will grow. You know, anxiety, yep. Guilt, yep. Self-doubt, yep. Worry, yep. But look at this, love. That is really what we talk about and what we want to see in the world. I'm gonna, instead of collectively saying I, because it is what I want to see in the world, I'm going to stretch out there, and it's not a stretch at all, to say that's what we as a collective here want to see in the world, and that we can impart that to the littles that we are with. You know, I joke and laugh at the littles because one of the littles is my YOUer, and he's taller than I am and got hair on his face now, and it's just
Yes,
stressing me to no end because he's no longer that little cute rockhead boy. Now he's a cute bigger guy. He's a 9th grader, but in a deep voice and all of that, and giggling with girls. And so I'm a little stressed. But so with that being said, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do a share today. And I will turn it back over to Janelle. I'm complete. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.